Welcome into the ESPN FC studios in this edition of the show. I'm Sebastian Salazar. Great to be with you. Only one place to start today. 6th place Spurs hosting 5th place Liverpool, and this match did not disappoint. Liverpool running out 3-1 winners. Firmino, Alexander-Arnold, Mane, the scores for Liverpool. Højbjerg with a brilliant goal for Spurs, but that's all they could muster. Liverpool then move into 4th. They jump West Ham, 4 points off the league lead. Spurs sit in 6th, 8 points behind league leaders Manchester City. Steve, Nicol, Shaka, Hislop, Jurgen Klinsmann with us. Stevie, how good were Liverpool today?
I think considering the team they had out, they were excellent. You talk about open attacking football, that's exactly what you got. You talk about creating chances, that's what you got. You got 3 goals, you got 2 disallowed, and you got other opportunities that maybe could have made this scoreline way bigger than it actually finished up. And that is with your 5th and 6th choice centre-backs. And in James Milner, 35-year-old, who's probably 4th choice in the middle of the park. I mean, what a performance, really, to go to Spurs and play the way they did and score the goals they did. Fantastic performance.
Jurgen, the attack has been slipping of late for Liverpool. What was the difference in this one?
Well, the difference was Liverpool created far more chances and finished them off as well. I mean, who knows what would have happened if Son's goal in the 3rd minute would have been a regular goal, but it was rightfully so, it was disallowed. But if that would have been the lead for Spurs, maybe a different story. But I think then Liverpool really controlled the game. Scored 3 beautiful goals. Even if Højbjerg, brought Spurs back, but they never created enough then throughout the whole 90 minutes. It was obviously a big blow to lose Harry Kane at halftime with injury again. So a deserved victory from Liverpool. A couple of outstanding performances from their side. I look at Thiago, first and foremost. He played an incredible game. And obviously they have their strikers back scoring. That helps them a lot going forward.
Shaka, what do you come away from this match? More impressed with what Liverpool did or disappointed in Spurs' performance?
Well, more impressed with what Liverpool did, given the issues that Liverpool had coming into this one, as Stevie rightly pointed out. But at the same time, don't let that disguise the fact that I'm hugely disappointed with so much about Spurs and the performance today against this Liverpool team, who, are kind of makeshift at times. I thought Spurs threatened to dominate the midfield because Liverpool don't have any real ball winners in their own midfield, as always with Son and Kane in their attacking lineup. They look so good on the counter-attack. Kane obviously has to come off. But then you look at what Liverpool did, or certainly Spurs allowed them to do. In the build-up to the first goal, Andy Robertson is allowed 10 yards into the Spurs half before anybody even thinks about getting close to him. Picks out the pass to the one player who's been running behind them all game long. And then it's a defensive mistake by Dyer for the 2nd goal. Laurie should have done better. For the 3rd, Rodon should have done better. And in the end, despite the fact that if you're Spurs, maybe you can console yourself with the fact that the 3 goals were 3 defensive mistakes, Liverpool, despite all their issues, were by far the better of the 2 teams.
Jurgen, any issues with Spurs' approach?
Well, I think they started well. They obviously almost scored a goal if it was allowed for Son. But then throughout the entire game, they didn't create enough. Harry Kane, until he obviously was subbed out then because of the injury, was never really into the game. And it's just simply not enough, And Liverpool looked like they could score, every minute. I mean, Mane had a couple of opportunities already in the first half. And obviously, when you then have individual mistakes like it happened especially in the first 2 goals, then you really look bad at the end of the day.
Stevie?
So it's Spurs proved today that in order for them to win games, they can't go toe-to-toe with a proper football team. And we kind of knew that. If they want to sit and put men behind the ball, then they can do that and they can break on you. But this became an open game. And they can't do it. And Jose's come out after the game and pretty much has not had one word of praise for Liverpool. All he said is, all the mistakes they made. Well, I tell you, the mistakes they made is because of the pressure they were put under, because they were so open that the defenders can't handle it, and Liverpool scored goals. So, listen, Spurs to me today proved exactly what I thought. Toe-to-toe against a proper team, they're not good enough. They have to sit behind the ball and try and be clever and get it on the counter-attack.
Jurgen, isn't this what we've talked about for months on this show? As a Spurs fan, you're fine with what Mourinho's doing as long as they're top of the table, as long as they're winning. Now they're not winning. 2 wins in their last 8 in the Premier League. They're no longer top of the table. Have we reached that point with Mourinho where the frustration is going to start to set in?
No, I don't think that the frustration is starting to kick in, because obviously they're in the League Cup final and then they're in the other cup competitions as well. So there's still a lot of football to be played the next 5-6 months, and obviously it looks now not so positive, absolutely, in the Premier League. I mean, you are 8 points behind Man City right now. You're in 6th place, and that doesn't look so good. I think the biggest fear I have, obviously as a Spurs fan, is how to replace Harry Kane going forward the next couple of weeks. If he's really out for 5-6 weeks, so what you're going to do, because you need a leader. Now, this Spurs team really needs a leader there on the field. I was curious when he will bring in Gareth Bale. I was hoping maybe already at halftime, and giving the opportunity to slowly grow into that team and to take over a little bit of responsibility there. I mean, he's a big-time player, and that could be a kind of a solution, hopefully, for the team. But they badly need somebody now to guide them on the field and to push them and to give them positive energy.
Stevie, Bale gets 10 minutes today at a time when Spurs absolutely needed goals. Is he done?
Wow. I'm trying to come up with a reason to disagree that he's not done. I mean, has he played a full 90 minutes in the last 2 seasons? In a proper game, in the first team, whether Real Madrid, certainly not. I can't remember him playing for 90 minutes for Real Madrid. He's got nowhere close to that at Tottenham. I think he's done as a big-time player. I think everybody would agree with that. Can he contribute? Yes, I think he can contribute, but I don't think it's going to be for 90 minutes every time there's a game, whether it's Spurs or wherever he ends up playing.
Shaka, this would seem to be the proof that Mourinho can't find any use for Bale, can he?
That's the thing. And to your previous question, Seb, is he done? Certainly at Spurs, I think the implication in that question is that it started at some point, and I'm not sure it started at all for him since his return to Spurs. And listen, if you're 3-1 down and you're, well, I don't want to call him big money signing because it's a loan, didn't cost you anything, but this signing that I think everybody expected so much from just comes on in a token late effort. It says all you need to know, especially Harry Kane going off as early as he did. It says everything you need to know. And the trouble is, Mourinho, I don't think changes his stance. I don't see how it improves, given how stubborn we've seen Bale over the last 2 or 3 seasons. That's not great, because I was holding out hope that Gareth Bale would somehow refine form, add an attacking impetus to Spurs that I don't think we'd seen for long spells under Jose Mourinho, and none of that has come to fruition.
Right, a month ago, Spurs were top of the table. Now they're in 6th. Jurgen, if you look at the table now, right behind Spurs, you got Everton, you got Chelsea with the new manager, you got Aston Villa with a couple games in hand. How concerned are you that this team that was once atop the table might miss out completely on European football based on what we saw today?
I think we're all rightfully concerned, obviously. Getting in the top 4 in the Premier League is extremely, extremely difficult. And now having teams like, even Everton being there, even West Ham is playing an outstanding season under David Moyes. So it's a lot of traffic up there in the top 8, top 9. There's a certain sign of alertness. I mean, there's definitely a lot of work for them to do. But I would also, going back a little bit to Gareth Bale, I would a little bit disagree, because we cannot really understand, the situation of Gareth, because we don't see him every day in training. We would need to see his training efforts. He played the full game actually in the FA Cup against Wycombe, scored a goal there. I think, this is a question for Jose, obviously, because at the end of the day, the work of a manager is first and foremost is people management. And so when you're in the situation that you're missing now some players, and especially Harry Kane, if you miss a leader like Harry Kane now, then there's alarm going on, and you have to kind of figure out or find ways to bring in players now to make them strong, to make them big, that you have at your disposal. And if you have a Gareth Bale, maybe there's a way to figure it out and to work it out with him to come back to the top. I mean, anything is doable. I think Gareth has a very, very good working attitude. He's very recognized within the locker room. It's his club. I mean, his heart is a Spurs heart. So I think there's still an opportunity there. I would not write Gareth Bale off at all, but certainly there's a lot of work ahead of Jose.
Stevie?
Jurgen, well, don't you think the answer to that question was in the substitute today, when you've got Harry Kane going off, and you put on Eric Lamela in front of Gareth Bale? That to me answers the question about Gareth Bale. I mean, it's not like he's been there a fortnight. He's been there a long time, and he's not even getting close, pretty much, to the field. Just about manages 10 minutes today. And the opportunity to play a guy who we think is big time would have been today. You put Gareth Bale on at half time, and instead we get Eric Lamela. I think that's the answer to that question that Seb asked earlier.
Jurgen?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a signal of today, but tomorrow is another day. So certain moments change really fast, and especially when you're a manager and you're in difficulty. So you figure out now, okay, you don't have a Harry Kane anymore. We all don't know exactly what's the situation with Dele Alli. Lucas Moura was on the bench as well. So there's something to be kind of worked out there on the training pitch, and it could happen next game that Gareth Bale starts from the beginning on, maybe scores 2 goals that nobody expects, and the whole situation changes. But you're totally right, Stevie. As of today, the signal towards Gareth was a negative signal, no doubt about it.
Stevie, no doubt that Liverpool were great today. Are they back, though? Were you convinced on today's performance that they're true title contenders again?
Listen, they're going to be. They're good enough with this team that they played today to be in the top 4. That's what I'll say.
That's it.
As far as winning the title, I mean, seriously, with the back line, I mean, in the first half, if Spurs had anything about them, they could have done some damage there, because not only do they struggle when teams come at them, but Liverpool's midfield right now isn't stopping anybody getting at the back line. Today, again, as good as Thiago is on the ball, off the ball, he can't get around the way that the likes of Henderson can. And while you've got to play Milner, who, as great as he is and has been, he's 35 and he's not getting around as quick either. So, Liverpool are not stopping teams the way they used to from getting to the back line. And so with the back line they've got, if they continue to do that, which unless they get everybody back fit, that's going to happen, then they're going to lose goals. And when you lose goals, you drop points. And when you drop points, you don't win the Premier League.
Yeah, they're going to lose Joel Matip. It looks for at least a couple weeks. Serious is what Jurgen Klopp called it after the match. Stevie, I don't even know what to say anymore about the center backs at Liverpool. There are literally nobodies left almost.
No, but you know what? Because of the attitude, because of the culture there, nobody's going to, the players I should say, are going to get on and do the best they can, and that's what they've done. And by, 90% of the time they've done a good job, but it's not going to last forever. We've still got half a season to go, and unless they do get bodies back, then they will lose goals. And as I said previously, you lose goals and you're going to lose games.
Jurgen, what did Liverpool's performance today do for your perception of their title chances?
Well, I think it's a big moment for Liverpool. It's a turnaround. I think you're back in the race for the title, and they have the quality to do so. I think also that they have still a couple of days left, to look in the transfer window and maybe make a move for a center back, maybe just on loan if there's somebody high quality out there. But that's what you have a scouting department for. So they have certainly a list of people there that they maybe are able to take on board in the short term because of the injuries they have. I think they looked really, really impressive today. They are the team that will definitely chase Man City, and I expect them to climb even more.
Stevie, some discussion whether Liverpool should go out and get a center back or not. I guess it revolves around money, but if we're talking about a true title challenge, if you can get that central defender, isn't it worth mortgaging your abstract future?
Well, there's a few teams I could throw in, the likes of Leeds, who have mortgaged their future, and look what happened to them. The Fenway Group is not about putting the future in doubt. If they have the money, then I would expect them to make it available. But if the money's not there, then they will not put the future of Liverpool in jeopardy. And quite frankly, I agree with that. You know, the way they've run the club since they came in, you can't argue with any decisions they've made. So, yeah, I'll go with them. Now, if you're asking me, go and spend the money and get a centre-back. Not just for right now, but spend the money, if you have it, on somebody who's going to be there for the next 8, 9, 10 years, which is a Upamecano. So that's what I would do, but
Shaka,
I'm not on the board.
Shaka, you impressed enough today with Liverpool to make them title contenders again, or are you with pretty much everybody else who says without that centre back, not going to happen?
No, I'm with everybody else. I think Liverpool have shown that they're good enough, talented enough, and more to the point, their front three, Salah, Mane, Firmino, have seemed to getting over their version of the yips of a few weeks ago. That they're going to score enough goals to see them finish top four. I just don't think, and everybody's touched on it. No ball winners in midfield. I think there's only so much you can do with makeshift centre halves, as decent a job as they did today over the long run. The thing for me is I think a lot of clubs, not just Liverpool, are hurting because of this pandemic, hurting financially. And with no real end in sight, I don't expect anybody to go out and do any significant business between now and the quickly closing transfer window. So this is who Liverpool are going to have to rely on in their back four. As I say, that can only get you so far. Top four, yes. To title winners, no.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.